Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. Walmart panics, deletes DEI programs to avoid a Black Friday boycott. Walmart is a very large and sophisticated company. They watch their numbers very carefully. They're very well aware that diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that advance people not based on their skill set or their abilities, but based on their race, their gender, their sexual preferences. They're very well aware those programs are not effective. Walmart was a small company that turned into a massive company using logistics, using advanced distribution systems, watching their numbers, and being responsible for a lot of American manufacturing leaving the United States because things could be produced cheaper overseas. They understand efficiency, they understand productivity. But yes, Walmart is sophisticated enough to know that programs like diversity, equity, and inclusion programs create problems for them. And what's more, they're also very aware that X is an easy way to spread a boycott. And they know that if they don't want to be targeted, like as of now, then they need to back off on these programs, and that's what they've agreed to do. Robbie Starbuck was in conversations with Walmart last week. He's the guy responsible for many of these programs being rolled back at very large companies. And what happens at very large companies, medium-sized and smaller companies, and other large companies, they do notice. So one big company changing its programs, changing its plans, not buying into the diversity nonsense anymore, can affect 10, 50, or 100 other large companies that don't make a big announcement about it. They're aware of what the other companies are doing, and when Walmart does it, it gives the other companies permission to do the same. What Robbie Starbuck told Walmart was he was planning on doing a story about wokeness at their company. And when he does a story about wokeness, it's because he's getting people from inside of Walmart, employees, executives, people who are being subjected to these ridiculous discriminatory programs, giving him evidence and firsthand accounts of what they've experienced while they're working at that company. Literally, insiders giving up evidence on the companies. That's what's so frightening to these companies, where they have to make a decision. Do you really want to go forward with these ridiculous, discriminatory, illegal programs? Or do you want to take the opportunity to talk to someone like Robbie Starbuck, who is an ideal consultant for these big companies, who can just tell them, look, you're not going to have a boycott. All you have to do is this, and this. If you don't do those things, yeah, you're in big trouble. But if you do those things, you're not going to have any problems from Robbie Starbuck. That's essentially what this is turning into. It's not really a protection racket because it's not like they're paying him to do this. But these advanced warnings of boycotts are becoming a mechanism where companies can become legitimate again. They can do the right thing and keep themselves out of trouble. Here are the changes that Walmart agreed to make. Surveys. Walmart will no longer participate in the HRC's Woke Corporate Equality Index. HRC stands for Human Rights Campaign. They publish a Corporate Equality Index. The Corporate Equality Index is a report published by the Human Rights Campaign as a tool to rate American businesses on their treatment of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender employees, consumers, and investors. And this is one of the main organizations that has been dictating to these main companies how they need to introduce policies that are discriminatory, that are inappropriate, and that follow diversity, equity, and inclusion rules. When companies say they're cutting off the Human Rights Campaign, they're not going to continue to do surveys with them, that means they're not going to send them internal information on what they're doing in human resources with their employees, and they're not going to take feedback from them and incorporate them into illegal programs. It further rightly delegitimizes the Human Rights Campaign people. Walmart is also taking control of what's being offered better on their website. Walmart has agreed to monitor the Walmart marketplace to identify and remove inappropriate sexual and/or transgender products marketed to children. Walmart will also review their funding of grants. They will review all funding of Pride and other events to avoid funding inappropriate sexualized content targeting young people. Walmart will not extend the Racial Equity Center, which was established in 2020 as a special 5-year initiative. Walmart will also fix their nonsensical supplier diversity program. Walmart says they will evaluate their supplier diversity programs and ensure they do not provide preferential treatment and benefits to suppliers based on diversity. Walmart says they don't have quotas and won't have quotas going forward. Financing eligibility will no longer be predicated on providing certain demographic data. So they're not going to give extra money, extra opportunities, or special financing terms, early payment, no discounts, things like that, based on people's skin color, gender, or sexual preferences. Walmart will no longer use the term Latinx in official communications. Walmart will also discontinue racial equity training through the Racial Equity Institute. Walmart will also discontinue the use of DEI as a term while ensuring a respectful and supportive environment. Walmart's new focus will be on belonging for all employees and their customers. And if they want to make everyone who works at the company feel more comfortable working at the company, offer additional resources through human resources, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Just don't do special programs, have special groups, and special opportunities for people based only on their skin color or gender or sexual preference. Walmart is the #1 employer in America with over 1.6 million employees, and they have a market value of nearly $800 billion. This is really a massive win. From Bloomberg, Walmart, world's biggest retailer, will curb diversity efforts. From the Associated Press, Walmart's DEI rollback signals a profound shift in the wake of Trump's election victory. From Axios, Walmart won't be the last company to pull back on DEI. And from Forbes, Walmart pulls back on DEI. Could we see more companies adopting MEI? MEI is merit, excellence, and intelligence in evaluating employees. Yes, of course they're going back to that, because it's very expensive, destructive, costly, and divisive to push programs like diversity, equity, and inclusion on your company and your employees. When you work at a company, you've got a job to do. Everyone has something literally they need to get done. They don't need extra friction in the way. It's hard enough to get work done in the first place. Walmart is reversing course on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, joining a growing list of businesses retreating on DEI programs targeted by conservative activists. The world's biggest retailer will no longer consider race and gender to boost diversity when granting supplier contracts, and stop collecting demographic data when assessing financial eligibility. The most prominent company so far to pull back on diversity promises, Walmart on Monday confirmed it would stop using the term DEI in official communications. It will also curb racial equity training for staff, stop participating in notable rankings by LGBT advocacy group, the Human Rights Campaign, and review its support for Pride and other events. The changes were made public after anti-DEI activist Robbie Starbuck posted a social media video saying that he had threatened Walmart with a campaign to lead a customer boycott just days before Black Friday, one of the biggest holiday shopping events of the year. Shares jumped 2% on Tuesday and are up about 75% this year. The apparent about face could threaten retention at the retail giant, which employs 2.1 million people worldwide. Yes, people will quit if there isn't discrimination at the company. Of course they won't do that. Like many of its peers, Walmart pledged to do more for people of color after the death of George Floyd in 2020. Now, more than half of its U.S. workforce of 1.6 million people are people of color and women. Walmart had also spent billions sourcing diverse suppliers in a move it said helps diversify and enhance its product offering. It doesn't diversify or enhance your product offering to offer unfair deals. You can't offer a deal to people based on their skin color and say, look, we're going to pay you extra. We don't care if we make a profit. It's going to, enhance our product offering. So we'll just pay you whatever. And don't worry on the financing. We're just going to pay you in advance. Walmart is notoriously difficult to deal with. They squeeze their suppliers left, right, and center, which is to say, suppliers, some of them moved business to production facilities in China because Walmart would tell them, look, we'll distribute your product. You can keep manufacturing it. That's great. We'll pay for it. You're going to lower your price, and you're going to lower your price on a regular basis because, hey, we're Walmart. We buy all this product from you, and we like to feature low prices. We like to be known for that. So literally, Walmart was forcing suppliers to move production overseas so that Walmart could get lower prices when it bought and sold products to customers. Yes, that had devastating effects on American manufacturing and cost a lot of people jobs. But Walmart was that strict. That's normally how they operate. It looks like they're going back to doing that. And for the companies that were relying on being diverse instead of producing things in a cost-effective way, that's going to be a big problem for them. This was always a fad. This was never something based on really actually addressing a consumer need and a customer need and delivering for people. And because of that, it was always destined to disappear. Most people are old enough that they have seen some fads come and go over the last 10 or 15 years or so. Diversity, equity, and inclusion was one of those fads. Quote, numerous studies have shown that diverse, inclusive businesses tend to outperform their peers as they attract and retain talent, foster innovation, and better reflect the complex character of the customers and communities they serve, according to Walmart, that had said this on one of their websites. It remains unclear what, if any, diversity initiatives Walmart will retain. Walmart's decisions come from, quote, a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging, to open doors to opportunities for all our associates, customers, and suppliers, according to a spokesperson for Walmart. Robbie Starbuck said he contacted public relations staff at the company last week, asking that it pull its support from LGBT causes and other DEI initiatives. He promised to call on his roughly 700,000 followers on Twitter to boycott the retailer if they didn't make the changes. The spokesperson for Walmart confirmed conversations with Starbuck over recent days, but noted that the retailer had already been reviewing some of its DEI efforts, including the supplier diversity program. Can you imagine you're working in public relations and you get a call from some guy saying, yeah, this is me, I'm that Robbie Starbuck guy, I'm on Twitter, I've got those 700,000 followers, and it sure would be a shame if I had to start a boycott against you guys right before Black Friday, a big shopping day for the current holiday season. You think you could stop it with these LGBT programs where you're forcing employees to get all kinds of brainwashing diversity training and you're giving special deals to suppliers if they have the right skin color or the right gender? Do you think you could cut that out? Because if you don't, maybe we do have to have a boycott next week. I wouldn't want to be the one getting that call. Although I will say this, where Walmart is saying, look, we've been reviewing some of our DEI efforts lately. They have been. They're very well aware. They can track. They know. These programs are not productive. The supplier programs are not productive. The brainwashing, unconscious bias training programs for employees where you're trying to judge people based on their skin color and try to force your employees to judge people based on their skin color, they know very well this creates a divisive, unproductive environment for all their employees. They were probably sitting by the phone, waiting for Robbie Starbuck to call them. And if he hadn't called them, they'd probably be calling him by January. A lot of these companies will reach out now to Robbie Starbuck. Not tomorrow necessarily, but over the next few weeks, certainly over the next few months, because Robbie Starbuck is the excuse they can use to get rid of these unproductive programs. Walmart's decision could reverberate across corporate America at a time when companies and their boards are doing a wholesale rethinking of the risks and benefits of DEI, according to David Larker, a professor at the Stanford Graduate School of Business, who said this in an interview. But Walmart is a key part of the economy, and when you see them do something, you're going to see a lot of other companies follow along. The question is whether the company will have trouble attracting and retaining talent, or how pro-diversity customers might react, he said. Which is such a nonsensical thing. We've seen this happen again and again and again. We saw a little bit of blowback with Bud Light, turned into nothing. We saw a tiny bit of blowback with Tractor Supply, turned into nothing. It always turns into nothing. Even people that are racist and discriminatory and they want to see only certain skin colors get certain advantages at certain companies, even those people, they don't care about it that much. They've just been programmed to be that way. It doesn't matter what your skin color, black, white, doesn't matter. People just don't care. They want freedom. They want opportunity in America. They want to go shop somewhere where they can get a good deal. They don't care about companies pushing these ridiculous discriminatory programs. They don't want them to push the programs. When people find out these programs are out there, it makes customers very uncomfortable supporting them of every skin color. People of color represent about 51% of Walmart's total U.S. workforce, the company said in its latest Culture and Diversity report in 2024. Among new U.S. hires, 49% were women and 29% were women of color. Walmart said it would stop using DEI and instead focus on belonging and work on a respectful and supportive environment. Walmart joins at least 10 other companies, from Deere & Company to Boeing Company, who have pulled back on their DEI commitments in recent months as corporate America reconsiders diversity policies in the wake of last year's Supreme Court ruling banning affirmative action in college admissions. But also because they understand that Donald Trump just won the presidency and he's not into this DEI stuff. He's not going to permit this DEI stuff. He's got Stephen Miller as one of his right-hand men in the White House. And this stuff's really illegal. I mentioned that in my videos about how you can't treat people like this. It's illegal to treat people this way. You can't discriminate against them. That affirmative action ruling that dealt with college admissions was important for this, and people are extrapolating off of that. But even before that ruling, it wasn't legal to treat people this way. You can't give certain advantages or offer certain job opportunities to people because you want to have a quota for this skin color, or you only want to hire certain people of that gender. You can't do that in the United States and not get in trouble for it eventually. They go on to say the Supreme Court decision raised questions about the legality of corporate diversity programs, prompting many companies to quietly reevaluate their efforts. Walmart spokesperson said the retailer began reviewing various policies and practices following the Supreme Court's decision, and the changes outlined on Monday have been in the works for months. And I do believe that. I'm sure they've been looking at it and trying to figure out, how do we extricate ourselves from this very expensive, nonsensical, illegal, and discriminatory agenda that we've set up? And lucky for them, Robbie Starbuck saved them, called them, and offered them a way out. The ruling also emboldened a slew of anti-DEI activists who say the backlash will intensify under President-elect Donald Trump. What Trump did to ISIS in getting rid of the caliphate is what Trump will do to all of this DEI stuff throughout the country, not just in the federal government, and not even just in businesses. Wherever there's discrimination, pushing this ridiculous Marxist agenda, it's going to get removed. Trump's cadre of advisors includes several vocal critics of DEI, including Elon Musk, who often reposts Starbucks social media attacks. And that's another big difference. Not only can Starbucks promote this on Twitter, and we all promote it on Twitter, but Elon Musk won't only not block it and prevent you from seeing it the way the former owner of Twitter would do, but he actually re-promotes it and promotes the idea that people should be treated equally. Imagine that. Stephen Miller, who Trump nominated for a Homeland Security Advisor and White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, has sued companies for their DEI programs and launched federal complaints alleging that these initiatives discriminate against white men and Asian men and other people. These are EEOC complaints. The EEOC complaints that he filed are good because they create a record, and they're also necessary to send out prior to filing a lawsuit, so he's had to do some of that through his America First Legal Foundation. But now those complaints, a lot of them not getting acted on, are going to get looked at again because there's a new sheriff in town. Last week, Republican Representative Nancy Mace filed a resolution that would prevent the first transgender member of the chamber from using the women's restroom in the Capitol. Quote, conservatives are no longer pushover consumers, according to Starbucks. Quote, we understand the value we have in the marketplace, and we're going to use it to make companies sane again. Even before George Floyd's death in 2020, Walmart had been working with the Racial Equity Institute, offering training on the history of race and racial inequity in the U.S. And you're paying for that if you shop at Walmart, but not anymore. Recently, it implemented practices such as new diversity hiring guidelines, while offering a race and inclusion curriculum for U.S. employees and building relationships with historically Black colleges and Hispanic-serving institutions. The company has said its U.S. businesses sourced more than $13 billion in goods and services from more than 2,400 diverse suppliers in the year to January. It defines these vendors as at least 51% owned, managed, and controlled by racial and ethnic minorities, women, veterans, members of the LGBT community, or people with disabilities. Wouldn't it be easier to just state the people that you don't include? Forget the whole list. It's everybody except certain specific people. Only a couple, but those specific people. Quote, we will continue to do the things that we can do to ensure that small suppliers have a path to be successful, according to John Furner, Chief Executive Officer of Walmart US. He said the company will continue to host open call events where entrepreneurs pitch to sell products to Walmart. He didn't mention race, gender, or other measures of diversity. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.